All right, we're going to get up and going here. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar this week. Today's topic is characteristics of an effective leader, and yours truly will be the presenter here today. So we've got a couple more weeks scheduled of these, and the next one's going to be on the art of body language, and that will be done by Mr. Dave Sanford. He's got a great presentation that everybody, if you're going to be successful in business, you need to understand the art of body language and how it really reflects what you come across as. And then the last one is going to be exciting: effective use of KPIs, key performance indicators. We're excited about that one. We've got one of our tenants here at the Innovation Center. Chad will be presenting there. He's got a great, he's already got his presentation. We're working on his presentation, and I know he's excited about that. But we're excited, and then we haven't got our schedule for the fall out yet, so we're still working and dreaming on what we're going to do with these webinars continuing on in the fall. I would like to introduce one thing that we are putting together, a real exciting thing here at the SBDC and the Innovation Center. We're going to be doing a series starting this fall. It's called Business Boot Camp, and we're really excited. It'll be leading a lot to people that are dreaming and starting their own business, and we're going to be a great assistance for that. And we're excited that will be starting later in September as well, and going through the winter. I think it's a 5 or 6. I think it ends like in March or April. So we're excited about Business Boot Camp coming up. So with that, let's jump right into today's presentation. Looks like we got a good group and on today. So, and I know that a lot of stuff that we're going to go through today is not rocket science, but sometimes we just need to be reminded of what we have to do in order to be a more effective leader in whatever organization. So I can see that we have people on here that are owners of companies, some that are employees. And it doesn't matter. All of the things that we're going to talk about can be applied to whether you're a leader or a follower in any organization. So with that, let's get right on here. Go ahead. Is it not working? All right, let's get, there we are. All right, so let's first of all define leadership. And, there's all sorts of definitions of leadership, but the best one that I came across is that leadership is a set of qualities that cause people to follow. So you might want to write that down, because that's going to be kind of the basis of everything we talk about today. Leadership is a set of qualities that cause people to follow. And it's very important that we understand that that's the basis, because in every organization, in every project, in everything that we do, there's going to be both leaders and followers. But in order to make great leaders, they've got to start. And most everybody, whether you talk sporting events or in any business organization, most every leader once started out as a follower. So let's talk about what are 3 keys of leadership here, and I want to. I'm going to go through quite a few lists today, but stay with me if you can. We are recording this, so if you're not able to take notes, that it'll be available for you if you want. So number 1, elicit the cooperation of others. You must be able to get others to buy into your vision of the future and the right way to get there. It's a key thing. If you're going to be a leader, you've got to elicit the cooperation of others. Another key thing is that you have to listen well. You have to be able to gather many kinds of information from others in order to lead. Doing so requires that you hone in your listening skills. Of all the leaders that I've looked up to in the past, one of the biggest things that I remember and that sticks out in my mind is the leaders that listened well, that they took input from everybody on the team. Next thing, place the needs of others above your own needs. Leadership requires that you be willing to sacrifice for the greater goal. The trick to becoming a leader is to be able to elicit cooperation, to listen to the needs of others, and to put other people's needs ahead of your own with great consistency. I want you to hear me out here. The skill is to be able to harness these abilities on a regular basis so that you can become a consistent practicer of leadership skills. These are three things that all key leaders, in order to be an effective leader, they must do. All right, but here's one thing I want you to just remember, that the bottom line here is that great leaders oversee getting important things done. And if you look at those people who have been influential in your life, that's one thing that I want you to pay attention, is that if you're going to be a truly effective, great leader, you have to be able to oversee and make sure that important things get done. I love this quote that popped up here at the bottom. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And if you want to really hone in on your leadership skills, then this is something that you must follow. Okay, effective leaders. While leadership is hard to define, you'll know it when you see it, you'll feel it, and you hear it. An effective leader creates clarity about where the business is headed and how each team member can contribute to the cause. Such clarity helps reduce confusion and waste action and energy. Clarity also helps employees to make better decisions within established boundaries. As a result, you can breathe more and supervise less. I love that. And so we're going to go through a list of 5 things here about effective leaders. Number 2, additionally, a leader motivates individuals to work together optimally as a team for a common cause or vision. A real leader pulls others along rather than pushes others around. And we're going to talk about that, that how a leader pulls others instead of pushes them. Leadership is about communicating, not shouting out commands. You cannot coerce people to follow you for long. Command and control leadership never earns the hearts, minds, and wills of other people. Real leadership is all about the influence of others, the ability to make others want to follow you and your cause. Proof of leadership is found in the loyalty and commitment level of your followers. When you turn around and your employees regularly and energetically follow you and your vision. If not, commit to improving to be a leader. And I love this graphic that comes down there. And we'll talk about it here at the end of the webinar today about how managers, they really focus on pushing people. And leaders follow the principle of pulling people with them. Everyone, you need to really focus on that if you're going to be an effective leader. In addition In addition to creating clarity and purpose and direction for the organization, the leader also needs to create the right condition and climate for his or her team to succeed. It's simple. You cannot succeed on your own. Leading yourself is not being a true leader. You lead energized and committed followers as much as you need. You need energized and committed followers as much as you need to be an effective leader. It's a partnership in pursuit of a common cause. You are nothing without engaged followers, and it's a key thing. Next thing here, of all the qualities a leader can have, passion is the most important. Passion is something you just absolutely can't fake. People will see it if you do. It starts in the soul and is fueled by belief that what you're doing is important. Leaders make a difference in people's lives. That's the key thing of difference between managing and leading, is that leaders make a difference in people's lives. A company without a leader is like a sports team without a coach and without a game plan. Both scenarios will result in players or your employees doing their own selfish thing, running around without a purpose, with no sense of accountability and making repeated mistakes, posting lackluster performance, and most likely losing the game. So those are 5 things that are, I call it my leadership 101. And this is something, great things that I use in many of my trainings. And there's a reason why I call it leadership 101. You've got to have clarity. You got to be able to motivate individuals. You got to have influence. You've got to create the right conditions, and you've got to have passion. And if you're going to do all that, you will make a difference in people's lives. Okay. In today's, let's move this on here. In today's fast-paced, technology-connected world, it's easy for people to lose track of what is important to the business. They get caught up so much in the day-to-day distractions, and you can name those off, and their list is long. Whether it's emails, focusing all on emails, Googling stuff, cell phones, everything like that. There's a time that every leader out there needs to do 3 things, and they need to be redirected, reoriented, and refocused. So the question I ask you, are you ready to be a leader? And I've got a list here of 6 things that a leader must focus on. And I'm going to go, I'll list them off here, and then we'll go through each one of them individually. So a leader must focus on getting satisfied customers and clients. That's number 1. That's what brings money into the business. And if a business isn't focused on bringing money in, they're probably going to go out of business. Number 2, getting results, not excuses. This is going to be a fun one to talk about here. Number 3, always improving, continuously improving. We call this innovation. Number 4, maintaining and growing profits. You've got to, that's why we hire people to be leaders in our organizations. Number 5, keeping a long-term perspective. And number 6, having fun. That's a key thing in if you're going to grow and have a positive workforce environment, you've got to always have fun. Okay, so let's start here on number 1. Focuses on satisfying customers. Your company's primary focus should be squarely on exceeding the expectations of your customers and clients. Begin to establish a culture where your team falls in love with your customers and their wants and needs, and not your own company's products and services. You are in business to attract and retain customers in a profitable manner, period. That's it. Okay, that's the purpose of the business. The real value of your business is tied directly to the future predictable cash flow with highly satisfied and loyal customers. Okay, there's a reason why this is number 1. If you're going to be a true leader, you've got to make sure you're focusing on the customer. Without customers, you do not have a business, and everyone's got to realize that. Again, you got to focus. Your focus has to be on the customers and solving their wants and needs each and every day. It should not be about what your company or service, about your company or services and products. Teach your employees to value your customers, serve them well, and sniff out any customer complaints. Whatever that complaint is, make sure that you got to make sure you get every complaint solved. Keep your customers delighted and coming back for more. As a leader, you have the courage to create an environment in which your customer is your enterprise's primary focus. There's a reason why this is number 1. Okay? Number 2, focuses on getting results. Establish a climate whereby activity is not confused with accomplishment, where thinking and planning are admired, where actual results are valued more than busyness, where effectiveness, doing the right thing, is rewarded more than efficiency of doing things right. Insist on intelligent, meaningful action and detest procrastination and excuses. Big thing that if you can do that and people focus on performance instead of excuses. As a leader, one of the most important jobs you have is to establish a goal-oriented environment with a solid expectation of performance. Insist on results. Do not tolerate excuses. That's a big thing that you got to make sure you're focusing on. Number 3, focus on continual improvement. This is something that when you're in your real growth phase of your business that you've got to really put on there, is that you're always pushing people to the next level. After satisfying customers and insisting on results, the next area will be on continuous improvement. If your company is not improving, it is declining. I love that. If you aren't getting better, your competitors will be. Therefore, establish a climate where your continuous improvement and innovation thrive. Do not let your employees feel failure or making mistakes. Just eliminate repeated mistakes. Failure is not fatal, but failing to change might be. Okay? Another thing that I wanted to bring up on here is failure is not, if you attempt something, it's better to have tried than to not try at all. Failure is fertilizer for future success. Failure is an incredible gift if properly viewed and used. If you are moving closer to the goals, you are winning. The quicker we fail and modify our approach, the quicker we get to our desired outcome. This is one thing that when I was had my retail business, I had quite a few employees in stores, and I loved it when customers actually told me no, because it got me closer to yes, and that's where we've got to. No doesn't mean you should close your doors and quit. It just means that you're going to be closer to the next yes. Business is all a game of numbers. Okay. Number 4, focuses on maintaining and growing profits. If you focus on the top line, then the bottom line will grow. Focus only on revenue growth. Focusing only on revenue growth is ego-driven and not too smart. Cash flow and profits are the lifeblood of your company. Keep the gross margin strong. Also, while cost containment is important to a health of your company, do not overemphasize slashing costs. Stay on the offensive, not the defensive. Revenue growth is nearly endless. Cost cutting is limited. This is something that, and another thing that I encourage companies as I work with them, is that you want to make sure you're hiring the best accounting people. As you're growing the business, it is important for you to make sure you have the best CPA on your side. Next thing, focus on keeping a long-term perspective. After profits, focus everyone on the fact that you are in business for the long haul. And too many companies out there do not focus on this one, and they have a real short-term perspective, and instead of planning for the future. Remember, business is a marathon, not a sprint. Do what is right always. Maintain the highest integrity and ethics. Your reputation is everything. Business is about sustaining lifelong relationships with customers, employees, investors, suppliers, and advisors. Repeat business is absolutely critical to the very life force of a business. Do not take any shortcuts. And I think that's a key thing for businesses, that we don't. There's not enough planning for the future, and that way you're setting your goals on higher things down the road. Last one here is you focus on having fun, and you got to celebrate worthwhile progress towards your goals. Celebrate your company's successes often and reward your employees for superior performance. Come up with excuses to praise the team and recognize success. Share in the joy. Make coming to work a meaningful and fulfilling event. In fact, appointing a CFO, Chief Fun Officer, I did this in my when I had my business, and it was an additional title to someone else's title, but and there's some of my previous employees, I think, that might be on here that know that was something that really that we did that we always were doing things to have fun, whether it's a management retreat or a company picnic, whatever it can be. You got to make sure that you're focusing on having fun and rewarding and praising those people who are performing in your organization. Never forget, often as important as a paycheck, good employees want to learn and grow, be challenged and rewarded, and fulfill their cravings to be social beings. Make your culture an enjoyable place to work. Okay? These are 6 great things that that everybody needs to focus on. Next thing here is I want to ask some of you things. What is your leadership potential? Okay. Sorry, I gotta get to a different place here. So I want you to everyone to question themselves. You know, everyone may think that they don't have leadership potential, but every person has the potential to be a leader. It's just how much do you want to step up to show that. Eliciting the cooperation of others, listening well, and placing the needs of others above your own needs are qualities that you can choose to make their own. But you have to choose to be a leader. It's not. You have to step out of your comfort zone most times. I like this this next one. Leaders are made by circumstance, not by birth. I mean, I guess you can only, in some circumstances it might be by birth. If you look at the Trump children, or, very famous people that, that have children that just because of their abilities that they're probably getting it by birth. But for 99% of the instances, leaders are made by circumstance, not by birth. And the last one here, or genetics. The last thing here is leadership begins with a willingness to embrace responsibility. And I wanted to read this one paragraph, and I think that it's a key thing. The reason that leaders emerge out of circumstances is that leaders embrace the idea of accepting responsibility. And I love this example. Helen Keller could not have remained nothing but sightless and deaf if Annie Sullivan hadn't embraced the responsibility of finding a way to break through to the brilliant child entombed in her own world. And Keller could have remained a curiosity if she didn't decide to become a spokesperson for handicapped people. When we read the stories of such people, we tend to read them about them as gifted writers, artists, musicians, diplomats, or athletes, but we must remember that they were leaders as well. Okay, so leadership begins with the willingness to accept and embrace responsibility. I love this quote. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. John Maxwell. And John Maxwell, I'm actually going to suggest something that I actually watched a 30-minute presentation on YouTube last night of John Maxwell's. An absolutely phenomenal presentation, and John Maxwell is a key leader of leadership. Got many books out on leadership. So a couple final thoughts here, and I talked earlier about the difference between a boss and a leader. Looks like we're getting close to the end here. What's the difference between a boss and a leader? And I love this this chart. And if you are ever questioning which category you fall in, this is something that you can fall in. And I know that most leaders out there will sometimes act as a boss, but if you want to focus on being a leader, write down all of these things on the right-hand side of here. If you're a boss, you drive others, you pushing them. A leader coaches others, pulls them. A boss inspires fear, whereas a leader inspires enthusiasm. A boss blames others, excuses, whereas a leader helps to fix it. A boss is all about the I, whereas a leader is about the we. A boss knows how it's done, and a leader shows how it's done. They don't do it for them, but they show them how to do it. A boss depends on authority, and whereas a leader depends on goodwill. A boss uses people, whereas a leader develops people. A boss takes credit, and whereas a leader gives credit. And that's a key thing if you're going to be in a successful organization. I love that one. A boss takes credit, and a leader gives credit. A boss gives commands, whereas a leader asks. A boss says go, whereas a leader says let's go. I love that. And one last final thought here, and I loved this when I read this. Leadership is lifting a person's vision to high heights, the raising of a person's performance to a higher standard, the building of a personality beyond its normal limitations. This is a great quote here. The last thing I wanted to do is, if everyone has a paper, I'd love to, I watched this John Maxwell, it's on YouTube, and it's the 5 levels of leadership. If you just Google 5 levels of leadership by John Maxwell, you'll come up with this. And there's actually a couple presentations. One of them that I watched was about 30 minutes, and there's another one that's about an hour and 15 minutes, where he's speaking to different organizations, Chick-fil-A and other organizations, about the 5 levels of leadership. Absolutely phenomenal if you want to focus on being a great leader within your organization. The last thing that I wanted to point out is that a business can only rise to the level of the leader's effectiveness. So if you apply the things that we've talked about on this call and webinar today, you will grow as a leader within your organization. So thank you for the participation today. Next webinar I'd already talked about is on the art of body language, and then the effective use of KPIs the following week. So if there's, let me see if there's anything any questions. Does anybody have any questions on things we've gone through? If you do want a copy of any of this documents, just shoot me an email. We can get you access to it, or and I've also got a list of about 25 characteristics that I didn't have time to get to today of effective leaders. So, thank you, Robert, for the comment on saying it was a great presentation. Appreciate your being here almost every week. I appreciate that. You're a great tenant and a great businessman. So if anyone else doesn't have any questions, shoot me an email if you do. And thank you for being here today. And have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. We're going to restart this, even though some people have jumped off here, and we got to have the last slide come up here. Oh, where is it? Page down, come on. Where is it? There it is. Bring it on. There we go. Now we can end the webinar. Thanks, everybody.